Okay, hello everybody. This is Boxing Bros UK here. I am his Chris. This is my co-host Andrew the Boxing Brain.
Hello.
And today's topic is Bentley versus Brad Pauls. What a fucking fight this was! This fight, like, I don't know, maybe it's because we are British, but our domestic dust-ups are the best. If you go back in history, Eubank, Ben, even Frank Bruno Lewis, like, they're always good. Even Eubank Jr., Billy Joe Saunders is a quality fight. Our domestic dust-ups are always the best.
Froch v. Groves.
Froch Groves, always the best. At any level, British title, whatever it is, they're always the best.
Yeah, brilliant fight. A real clash of styles this was, and we knew, like, one of my questions was going to be if I was able to have made the press con. Well, if they didn't, because they all ran off, didn't they? So you couldn't interview them on one of them. I would have been sort of, we know Brad Pauls likes to close the distance and maybe try and catch him with one of those uppercuts like he did with Derek Assage in his last fight. But Brad Pauls is more, he showed his levels. But this was really a case of which style was going to win out. You got Bentley, who can certainly mix it up, but was kind of using his speed. Oh, Mr. Too Sharp there. We're going to call this video, he said something in a post-fight interview that in camp they'd been working on death by 1,000 jabs, that, he was there to be hit by the jab. And he struggled to find the right hand. There was a bit of corner work, I don't know if you saw, with his trainer, where he was like, can't miss with a jab, but can't find the right hand. So, keep using that jab. And that's what he did, death by 1,000 jabs. And it was a case of Brad Pauls, look, what lost this fight for Brad Pauls, though, really, and it was plain to see for anyone watching, started too slow the first 4 rounds, Chris. Didn't do much the first 3 or 4 rounds. Lost probably all of those rounds, if not 3 out of those 4. When he did then come into the fight a little bit more and had some good work, it was just a little bit too late. Obviously, then there was a knockdown in round 10, I think it was, Chris, you said. Took a thumb to the eye or a glove to the eye, and I think it was more, I don't think he was overly hurt, but it just obscured his vision a little bit. Denzel Bentley was moving really well, kept using that jab, just that showed that little level above, really disciplined. But Brad Pauls was game the whole fight.
Yeah, for sure.
And he'll come again. Listen, those my last kind of point before you come back in is, Denzel Bentley will want to go up to world level again and fight for probably that WBO belt, puts him in line for it. The British title will be vacated again. I imagine Brad Pauls, I can see him being a 2-time British world champion. So that will probably happen, I think. Yeah. So,
Commonwealth was on the line as well. The Commonwealth was on the line as well. But it was, so Bentley, like, I think, like, I've got my scorecard here. I think, so Bentley was winning it. Like, he banged on the money. He won the first 4 rounds. Brad Pauls was started too slow.
There you go. That's how I would have had it if I scored it, mate. So pretty much the first 4 rounds it was just you
can't, when you're fighting someone who's just below world level, or he might be world level, you've got to start fast. Even no matter what your style is, catch them off guard. Start fast. If anything, you're going to start slow. Because I think Bentley got a bit complacent though, because he was cruising. For 4 rounds, he was cruising. Like you say, jab, jab, jab. Couldn't find the right hand, but he was lighting him up. And then Paul started to close them. And I think at the end of round 4, I think end of one of round. I think it might be round 1, but he got some good body work in. Then the end of round 4, he got some good body shots in, and then he started to hurt Bentley. And and like anytime he got the opportunity, he was letting his hands go. Pause. It was really ferocious, and he started to do a bit of educated pressure. He won a couple of rounds. Then Bentley came back. But he like you say, he was just jabbing. But Bentley was doing a few weird things. I think he might have had an injury or something. Did you notice? Like when he's throwing his hooks, it was like a hammer punch. He wasn't. So obviously, you know when you box, I always get told elbows up. Like you don't throw like that. You throw like that. Like elbows up every time when you're fighting. The coaches always say elbows up, elbows up. And Bentley was going like that. Like weird. It was weird. It was a weird. And I was thinking, why is he punching like that? Is he injured? Can't he straighten his arm properly? Can't he lift his out? Because it elbows up because you get the power, like, and he's taller than Paul's. So I don't know why he was doing that. Like it was like a weird, like hammer. It's weird. And I just don't know why he was doing that. Like, and he didn't really throw too many up. And I just found that strange. And Paul's was coming back into it. He was hurting Bentley. And Bentley was, another thing that he was doing that I thought was a bit strange, he kept turning his back too much. You know, when he was walking away, then he'd like turn away. Like, I know that can be a strategy sometimes because they're not allowed to hit you in the back of the head. Maybe he was hurt and he was just using like the dark arts, like, oh, I'll turn away like this. So you have to come round to try and punch him in the face, or the ref's going to tell me to turn around or whatever, just to give himself a breather, because he was getting hurt by Paul's there. And and then in round 10, I think he just thought, I'm going to have to swing it out with this guy because he won't leave me alone. He keeps closing me down, coming for me, so fuck it. And I think his corner said, stop moving away from him. Stop letting him back you up. You're going to have to stand there with him. And then he swung it out with him, and Paul's had to take a knee, didn't he, in round 10. And I thought, oh, was that a punch in the replay? Like, kind of like thumped him in the eye. And then Paul's took a knee, and then his eye was fucked. And championship rounds, it was all Bentley. And so it was a good win. And it was a hard fight. It was no easy fight by any means necessary. It was not. What do you think? What's next for Bentley now?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. And I think Paul showed that he was, because I think Bentley was maybe hoping he probably wasn't going to be anywhere near his level. But I think Paul showed that he could mix it with him in there, and with a few adjustments, starting quicker, maybe catching Bentley off cold, because he can be a little bit off the money and off the boil a little bit, Bentley. He has shown that in the past, the Heaney loss. Yeah, so he can be, but he seems a little bit more switched on now. I always feel like he's such a laid-back dude, Denzel Bentley, isn't he? And he always be very kind of laid back in the corner. And I don't know, maybe he does sort of just switch off a little bit at times, needs to be under a bit of adversity to sort of, because his trainer was always whispering to him in the ear, which maybe that's kind of what works for him rather than kind of shouting at him, Next for Bentley, well, I think considering Shiraz is going the WBC route with a Dames, I think that's opened up Bentley to have another shot. What is his number one in the WBO against JANIBEK? Took him 12 rounds last time. Again, some adjustment, being that little bit more switched on. And Brad Pauls, I think, should maybe, have a little tick over fight and then get back in there when the British title's vacated and get that title again. That's what I would think both for them pretty much within the next two fights. WBO shot for Bentley. And Brad Pauls to get back in there and get his British title back.
Fight soon. Is JANIBEK fighting soon? I swear he's fighting soon, JANIBEK.
He's got to be, surely, because he was obviously going to be fighting. He was going to be fighting, obviously, Shiraz. So, I read it the other day. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm sure he is. Someone leave it in the comments.
Well, the thing is, if JANIBEK's fighting soon, does Denzel Bentley take another fight and then go for his shot? Or does he just wait for JANIBEK? It's up to him. Like, I don't know what's best, because sometimes activity is good, but sometimes too much activity. I think if I was Denzel Bentley, I would rewrite that wrong. I'd fight Nathan Heaney. Just knock him out. Just right that wrong before you move up.
That wouldn't be a bad fight. I mean, yeah, Bentley said on multiple occasions in the last two fights that he's better when he's more active. So I suppose if he's not, then maybe a Nathan Heaney rematch. Who else we got in that kind of middleweight division? You know, you got your Otto Williams, people like that. That would probably be a good matchup. You know, he's fairly well known in America. Yeah. That might be a good fight.
Not too difficult, but just like a tick-over fight. But I really think he should right that wrong with Heaney. I would like to see that because he's not on Denzel Bentley's level. And I reckon if Bentley fights him again, he'll knock him out easy.
Yeah, he hits hard. Bentley. And I mean, Heaney's fought them both actually. He said in a little interview that he felt Bentley would just get the job done. And when asked who hits harder, he said that he felt that Bentley hits harder. So but we know Bentley can punch, and he can box, and he's got a good jab. And I think if he can just tighten everything up, there's no reason why he can't win a world title. He's good enough. I think he's good enough.
Let's have it right. He took that JANIBEK fight on like 2 weeks' notice, and he still gave a good part of himself. He didn't have a full camp. So imagine what he's going to be like. Full camp. He's been active. He's been having learning fights. He's been active, and he has a full camp going for that shot. And he knows what he did wrong last time. He's already been in the ring with JANIBEK. I give him a good chance of beating JANIBEK. I really do. It's a hard fight. I won't count him out.
I think Shiraz is the star of that division. He's the real prospect in that division. You know, Bentley's still only 30, 31. He's still got time on his side. He's got a lot of experience. He's got a decent resume. You know, he's fighting Brad Pauls now. Right that wrong against Heaney. You know, he's been in there with JANIBEK. Yeah, you know, he's had a decent career, and I still think there's potentially a bit more to come from him as well. And then hopefully, I mean, if he does manage to get that WBO title, shall we say, there's potentially some big money.
Two straps. It's 2 straps.
Yeah, of course, because he's got the WBO and IBF, But there's some potential big money fights in there. You know, Chris Eubank Jr. still campaigning at middleweight. There's some potential big domestic money fights that he probably deserves.
For sure. I've just something just come to my head. Imagine this, just like fantasy, but imagine next year, let's say Eubank Jr. fights Lara, beats him, gets that WBA super title. Let's say Hamza Shiraz beats what's his face, whoever he's fighting for the WBC belt.
Oh, Adames. Adames.
And let's say Bentley beats JANIBEK and gets the WBO IBF. That means we own Britain own the middleweight division. They own it.
And then you're still going to have
all the British fighters will have all the belts. So
you've still got those guys kind of coming that are into the other British guys there that might want to. Brad Pauls will want to come again. You know, Heaney will want to come again. You know, Felix Castro, I don't really know what's going on with him at the moment. Tyler Denny. Thing is with Tyler Denny, talk about some of the other British mids. Tyler Denny looks so out of his depth against Hamza Shiraz. I'm not entirely sure where he kind of figure. A former European champ. I'm not quite. I think maybe we found his level there, perhaps.
Him and Pauls would be a good fight.
Yeah. Well, he fought Brad Pauls, didn't he? Did he beat Brad Pauls?
I think he beat Brad Pauls. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I know. I don't want to write Tyler Denny off because he'd been written off before, but he just looked. Look, styles make fights. We all know that. But Jesus, Hamza Shiraz did such a job on him. It was quite striking. But, you know what I mean?
The thing with Tyler Denny is, like, he's really, really short. I think he'd be better at light middleweight, but maybe he can't. Like, I think he's too small. So, and Hamza Shiraz is too.
He's a small middleweight,
really he's really, really big for middleweight. He could go up to super light heavy because he's so bloody tall. So when you've got someone who's a really small middleweight and you've got someone who's a huge middleweight, obviously most times he's going to win. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, the styles that make fights, and it's just one of them.
Why we have weight
Unfortunately.
divisions, mate. This is why we have weight divisions. You are right, and probably Shiraz probably rehydrated another. But bearing in mind it wasn't IBF sanctioning the fight and any of the rest of it, so he probably would have rehydrated 20 pounds going into that as well. So he might have been bloody 30 pounds heavier, 25 pounds heavier as well. So yeah,
that's it. Well, I think that's it from us. Not much more to talk about. Unless you got anything else you want to mention, but
no, really, I just want to say quickly that I thought it was. They had to put that little filler fight in there because everyone was getting knocked out in the first round, which you can maybe criticise the level of opponents in there, the Husseins of this world, Solomon Dakers. Jesus Christ, Solomon Dakers. God, based on that performance, how did he even get an English title? Christ almighty. Given to him, I think. But, exciting. We always like to see knockouts. An exciting card. Brilliant main event. Excellent Sam Noakes fight. And, Magnificent Seven lived up to its magnificent name, I felt. I thought I was entertained, Chris. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like you're saying, I didn't like that. Like, how can you put a 4-rounder on just before the main event? Well, look, that was a bit fun.
I went and made a cup of tea and something to eat when that was on.
I didn't even bother watching it. I went and had something to eat myself. I thought, what the fuck is this? But
yeah.
Right. Well, that's it from us, guys. Boxing Bros UK.
Like and sub.
Like and sub. Like and sub.
Nice one.